Welcome back to another episode of the Tracy Take. I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone watching this film and all of our subscribers. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can see when we release new content. Today, we are talking about the Cheeseheads, the Green Bay Packers, and everyone in Packer Nation is having a big sigh of relief as of today. It is July 27th. And so everyone now has seen the news that Aaron Rodgers will be playing for the Packers this year, and they have worked out to some sort of agreements. It's looking like you're going to have a couple more years of Aaron Rodgers. But really, before we get to him, this is a season preview, so we want to cover majority of the team. And so we're going to start with the defense actually here real quick. And I remember, Ryan, I don't know what your thoughts were, but thinking that this defense was so-so. But I didn't realize after doing this research, they were 13th overall last year. And they're bringing back almost all their starters. The only person that they're not bringing back is a Christian Kirksey, their linebacker, which they have replaced. So I think, and based off that, I think that they could even improve. They're a young defensive team, and I think that they can improve and potentially even be a top 10 defense, which is scary because we all know how good this offense is.
Yeah, and so they're bringing back Zadarius Smith and Kenny Clark on the defensive line, which are their two most important guys. Kenny Clark is one of the best run-stuffing tackles in the NFL, and Zadarius Smith is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. And then, to me, where this defense really dropped off last year was they have Jair Alexander as their primary cornerback, and he is a ball hawk, and he can take a wide receiver out of a game. But after that, they didn't really have anything, and not to bring up bad memories for you Packers fans, but Kevin King gave up a touchdown at the end of the first half, and then he also had the penalty on Tyler Johnson going in the fourth quarter that extended the Bucs' drive that allowed them to knee out the game. So I really think drafting Eric Stokes in the first round, as much as Aaron Rodgers wanted another wide receiver, I really think that was the right move because now I want to say they play Tampa Bay again this year. They both – or no, do they? They don't.
I don't think they do.
But if they play a team that has two really good weapons, or honestly any team, they can put two corners that can play physical man-to-man coverage on them and really take them out of the game. So I think that is a huge step for the Green Bay Packers, just adding that corner depth. So
I'll be curious to see how Eric Stokes does because there's going to be a lot of focus around him this year because a lot of people are going to say Tyson Campbell was available, Asante Samuel Jr. was available, just as I just did actually. But I do think Eric Stokes can be really good, and so it'll be interesting to see how he pans out this year. But I agree, they are returning a lot of the starters in the secondary, and so I think it's going to be a good year for them. But all right, now getting into the fun stuff with the Packers. And obviously we all know by now Aaron Rodgers reported to training camp. He's going to be there. And one of the interesting things actually that we're seeing with this is he wanted, from my understanding, more say kind of what goes on in the organization. And it's already happening. It's reports now that Randall Cobb is expected to be traded back to the Packers. So that would actually be a huge addition. Him and Rodgers were a great tandem. I think they enjoyed having each other there. And adding him back to this offense, I think depending on what they have to give up for him, I don't think – I mean, the Texans, he was projected to be their number one receiver, so they might have to give up a little bit for him. So we'll have to see. They did draft Amari Rodgers, maybe do a trade, mano a mano, and draft pick. But I think coming back for I think Aaron Rodgers coming back to the team and having some extra say in the organization, I think is good for all parties involved. If Aaron Rodgers wants to win a Super Bowl before his career ends, I think it's, especially right now, I think the best place to do is going to be in Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, if they can keep Amari Rodgers with Randall Cobb and then still obviously have Devontae Adams, that is a pretty scary receiving core. I was very high on Amari Rodgers coming out of Clemson. And then they also still have tight end Robert Tonyan, who had a breakout year with 11 touchdowns last season. So those are really good. And then you couple that all together with a two-time 1,000-yard rusher two-time Pro Bowler Aaron Jones, and I mean you have the making of a top 5 offense. The only
Yeah.
thing that is a little concerning on this offense is the offensive line.
Yep.
So Corey Linsley left. David Baktiari tore his ACL on December 31st last season. And then that kind of left the offensive line. I mean, when you lose 2 All Pros, you're kind of like,
Yeah, you're kind
it's tough.
of
You're kind of
just
screwed.
hanging on by a thread,
Yeah.
really. And then another one, they did also lose Rick Wagner as well, so the right
Yeah.
tackle. So with David Bakhtiari unsure on when he's going to be able to come back, hopefully he comes back as soon as possible. There's going to be a lot of question marks really for this offensive line up front, and I mean we could list off just a bunch of names. The only for sure one, if I'm not mistaken, I think Lucas Patrick at right guard. He was a starter last year and did fairly solid overall.
Yeah.
But really, I was going to say, just honestly, it's going to be similar, I think, to the Bears, I believe, where it's going to be a mismatch of names that could potentially be the starter.
Yeah, no, and like Billy Turner and Elton Jenkins were 2 guys
Mm-hmm.
last year that played all over that offensive line, and it looks like they're going to start the season out that way because honestly, David Bakhtiari is probably going to have to start the season on the PUP list unless he can make some immaculate recovery in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really tough for him to come back and be able to play in the first half of the season. So they'll probably put him on the PUP list and he'll be available week 8 at the earliest. So with all that being said, I think it'd be good to kind of get into their schedule because I want to talk a little bit more about the Packers' schedule than some of the other teams that we've done so far.
Okay. All right.
So, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say they for being a division winner, I would say they have a fairly easy opening schedule, especially through the first 9 weeks.
Yeah, and they have a prime buy placement for making a playoff push. So they, like you said, have a pretty easy beginning of the season, and I think that will actually be very good. Help them kind of maybe figure out that offensive line, let some of the younger defensive talent kind of work its way in and get playing at an NFL level. But they have a pretty tough, in my opinion, back half of the season. So it kind of starts when they go to Kansas City in week 9, and then they have to play LA week 12. I do have them losing at Minnesota. They always seem to split a series. So, but then LA week 12, and then they have to go to Baltimore week 15, and then they play Cleveland, Minnesota again. And then I have them giving up that game in week 18 to Detroit only because I'm assuming at that point the Packers are going to be set in their playoff position, whether they're going to be like 3rd or 4th or 2nd or 1st, whichever spot that they're in. I don't think that they're going to have to play actually in week 18 and kind of let some of their starters rest. So
I could see that potentially happening. Potentially happening because I see you have them going 11-6. Yeah. So I can see that potentially happening. Especially with the second seed not getting a bye. It's going 11-6. I think we'll be doing the Buccaneers here in a future episode. But yeah, they are definitely going to make the playoffs. I would be shocked if they didn't. I agree with what you said with their early on schedule. Their toughest game being the 49ers, but then they should. Then their next toughest game shouldn't really be actually until May. I mean, you can make an argument for Arizona, but Kansas City should really be their next toughest game for them, which that actually be good for them to kind of figure out the offensive line issues that they are having. But yeah, their back half of their schedule though going to have some coin flip games. L.A. Rams in Green Bay. I can see that going either way. Honestly, depending on that game's really going to I think, depend on the L.A. Rams if Matt Stafford and company is clicking. Baltimore, that one could be another one. But I can also see
the
them.
LA Rams game could depend on if the interior of that offensive line can hold back.
But they're going to have about that's going to be the last week of a 12 straight week stretch of everyone grinding out and playing. So that'll be interesting to see, as they might have some motivation to do well going into the bye week. But this is one. It's interesting to look at their schedule because it's a little bit different than some of the other teams in this division. Like maybe if they can win a couple games, they might be able to make the playoffs. For this one, they're going to win the playoffs. Every game that they should win, they're going to win. It's just going to be a matter of where they're placed at. And I'd be very curious to see, because they're going to really want home field advantage again. Going to be curious to see what the Buccaneers record's going to be coming into this. But going into Week 18, I'd see kind of who they have, what they have to do essentially to determine the seed. But as I said, it's a lot of the drama, I think, is now out of the building, and really not too much speculation now. Now that knowing Aaron Rodgers is there, it seems like the two sides have come to an agreement on really kind of what is best for Aaron Rodgers and the organization. And I think that's actually going to be really good as well. I think moving forward of these next couple of years.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to get to. Is I've heard rumors that Aaron Rodgers agreed to come back this year if they renegotiate his contract, and he is actually a free agent come 2022. So that's a rumor that I've heard. I'm not sure how real it is, but there is a possibility that Aaron Rodgers is a free agent after this season. And so I do wonder if, while maybe they've cleared the air for now, if there is some sort of still like bad taste left in someone's mouth, or if Aaron Rodgers honestly just might not be all in on it this year. And so I'm curious to see if that affects his play or not, or whatever. So
I think he's all in. I think he wants to win a championship. I think he knows he can win a championship here. But I think that's saved for a separate episode, knowing that I'm seeing the sleepy eyes and the scratching eyes coming from your way. It is past midnight. We like to do these episodes late here at the Tracy Take. So, but anyways, more to come here with the Packers. I think there's going to be a lot of stories come out that Ryan and I will cover here that you can see at the Tracy Take. So be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for when we do make those videos about Aaron Rodgers. And good luck this season to the Packers.